story recently, but Wukong's certainly a champion that, to me, says I'm focusing more on team play rather than individual lane.
He'll have a strong opportunity to set up ganks with Contractz at level 6, even earlier if Broken Blade gets a little bit aggressive and starts trying to trade against the monkey. But this is 10-14. He did take some nerfs to the duration of the knockup, just a 0.15 seconds on each of those. You got 2 knockups, going to be a little bit less, but I think that both these teams are going to be quite happy with what they have drafted, and it's always going to come down to execution these days, and the execution revolves around those dragon team fights. The objective game is real. One team's got that Olaf that lets you power farm, the other one's got Ignite Graves. So Spica looking for blood, Olaf looking for minions.
It's also fun because, again, we've been talking about, academy players making their way into the LCS. Spica and Contractz actually have played each other quite a number of times in academy because they've been there for a while before moving up recently this split. So going to be fun to watch them play against each other. Mid lane also I have my eyes on because I love a good run back in the 1v1 mid lane, and it's always fun to see the reverse matchup. But Ryoma has been playing very well recently, but has a very tall task, despite TSM being a little inconsistent recently and certainly dropping games unexpectedly, Immortals being the biggest loss of the week last week. Bjergsen is an absolute menace. He's been playing so well individually, and this is the kind of champion where he can take over on. So quite a lot of volatility, I would say, in this draft, especially in the top side of the map. I mean, just look at how aggressive those 3 champions are for TSM.
Oh, yeah. And I also want to point out something that Contractz did. We saw it yesterday, and we ran over a little bit in Academy, but the Olaf starting without the jungle item is so that he can either clear a ward or be spotted without giving away where he's going to start. Because usually, if you start Talisman, you're starting red side. If you start Machete, you're going to start on blue buff. So this, to me, tells me Contractz looking to start blue side, going to pass to the top side of the map to help out Ssumday at the end of the day, and it's just going to set him up to do a full clear, hit that top Scuttle Crab base, and then go for that power farming to the dragon. Everybody's just doing the power farm blabber route, and why not? He really showed us how powerful it can be.
Yeah, 600 Drake's pretty good. First one's going to be an Ocean for this game, but already action in the top side. Broken Blade is slapping Ssumday with the Jayce Q, and then off into range form he goes for even more Qs, as Ssumday is already lost almost all his health.
He really wants to take as much of this trade early as possible to take advantage of that D-shield, but Broken Blade's going to try to commit. He's got minion aggro on him. He can't kill him here, so I actually think that Ssumday isn't feeling too bad about this, but the biscuits will come in clutch to keep both of these guys chopped off.
Yeah, going to have to eat right away as Broken Blade has pretty good early control of this wave. Ssumday going to be forced to play back here, and both junglers did start on the bottom half of the map as well. You mentioned Contractz pathing as Broken Blade hits level 2. Acceleration Gate Q not going to hit onto Ssumday, but as we mentioned, Spica with the Ignite is coming towards the top lane, so could come to a head very quickly there as Bjergsen going to get knocked back there by Ryoma, but does proc that Electrocute.
Look at how it sets up the lane with what Ssumday is doing, because now the wave gets to crash onto him. The Jayce doesn't get to harass him every single time. He gets to heal up, knowing that his jungler also gets to path to the top side of the map. Here, Spica is going to try to take advantage of that Ignite. The sweeper is just barely going to miss out Contractz. He might still have an opportunity since Jayce can't collapse and take him out. Oh, yep. Yeah, Contractz is in trouble.
Ignite going to force the flash, and now Contractz just instantly flashes out of the way. Knows he has to respect the power of that Graves. But Ssumday maybe going to feel a little uneasy here. Spica's going to finish off these Krugs. I mean, it's like, would be the most obvious dive in the world. Broken Blade isn't in lane right now, though. He's actually back already for a Doran's Blade, and is going to walk back to lane as Ssumday collects creeps under his tower. So the threat of diving this Wukong is no longer there, but Spica already with a good bit of early pressure in 100 Thieves jungle.
Broken Blade sees the opportunity for the quick reset. He's going to just stack up those blades, and this was an opportunity for Spica to potentially double crab the Olaf, but Contractz goes straight down to make sure that he gets that for himself, and now Spica will get to just continue to go and farm. Now, this is where the Olaf is just going to continue to go back into the jungle. He's not going to be two-faced by not having that flash, since he knows that Graves is unlikely to find him again for quite some time. So maybe there's a dive opportunity here, but this just looks like a defense. Going for this right now would be way too dangerous.
Yeah, wave's thinning out pretty quickly. Treatz and DoubleLift. Looks like they'll be just fine. They are a little bit behind in farm, but I don't think they're too unhappy. Again, seeing Poome on this Enchanters get pretty aggressive in the 2v2. feels like they have a natural advantage with 2 range anyway, so I think DoubleLift and Treatz are just fine with how this lane is going, and it doesn't seem like there'll be any action without jungle interference. So we'll keep an eye on the CS there in the bottom lane, but for now, Cody and Poome can be happy with how their early game is going, but DoubleLift I don't think is complaining either.
Not at all, and he gets to use the Ashe gets to use the hawkshot to actually see what's going on the map. So they actually were able to know that because Contractz goes down, messes with the Crumbzz, and then the hawkshot also finds where Graves' camps are going to be spawning. They know that the Graves is going to be in the top side of the map, so that's why Ssumday can crash this wave, take that pretty bad looking trade, and instantly recall, knowing that, hey, if I stick around here, I'm going to be in some trouble. Now he just gets to use TP, and this is an opportunity for TSM to potentially go for an early Drake, since they have that teleport advantage in the top lane. But with Spica up here, Olaf can easily path down and just try to sneak that one real quick.
Yeah, getting close to the minute mark where Olaf can potentially take that, although he's going to run into Spica right now. Ryoma's roaming up, and Contract's already pretty low. Spica, they're going to have to get out of there. Has the blast cone ready, but does wait to use it. Now over the wall to the Crumbzz he goes, but he's in a 1v3 right now. Spica running towards the tower, going to have to try and get the kill instead, but thumbs up. Can't quite get it on the Contractz. That's a great stun from Ryoma, and first blood goes over to the Wukong.
Wow, so 100 Thieves actually did a really good job in timing that ignite as well. Look at it just barely coming up on Spica right now. Had he had that, he would have had a lot more confidence in that trade, but that's the trade-off that happens when you're playing this Graves. If you don't have that summoner, you're going to be in a world of trouble, and he's just going in thinking that he's got a lot of support, but if you look at the lanes, it is a terrible time to be fighting. LeBlanc just made it back to the lane. Syndra had just TP'd, so because LeBlanc was saving hers, they were going to have a small window where Ryoma would have priority, and that is what really sealed the deal for Spica. The kill going over to Ssumday. 100 Thieves knows who their main carry is, so Ssumday getting the gold, I think, is a lot more valuable and will just go the extra mile as if you gave it to Contractz or Ryoma instead. Yep,
offsets any disadvantage as well in that lane. In fact, I would guess he's ahead because the CS difference is so small. Bjergsen looking here in mid, though, is going to threaten onto Ryoma. They both have their ultimates, but Contractz is busy doing the crab on the left-hand side of your screen, so Ryoma is going to make sure he can move in for coverage if needed. Syndra, despite those Q mana nerfs, still very good at pushing the lanes, especially as she levels up. Treatz, though, hiding in the shrubbery, looking for Poome. He's going to find it, double it for the Gravitum. No ignite here, but they're going to keep going. Exhaust is down. Poome looks dead here, and indeed he is, as DoubleLift going to take him out with Treatz by his side. As Cody Sun also going to suffer the same fate, not today.
Ooh, that is exactly what TSM needed right now. Finding something in the bottom lane just on their own, right? Nobody else to help them out. This can actually turn into even more as we get to roam down here. Contractz is sick, but he's just going to slow things down. Now, 100 Thieves can actually use this reset that the bottom lane of TSM is going for to potentially go for a dragon here. So they might end up winning the objective game after handing off this blue buff. So I think that 100 Thieves can get something out of this, but this is a great start for the substituting support of TSM.
Yeah, Treatz, so far so good. Getting a 2v2 kill always feels nice. Ryoma, as you mentioned, though, with the blue buff is just going to kill these minions nice and easily. Bjerg is currently up in CS. That's actually a pretty decent lead, about a wave and a half or so right now. But again, TSM did pick fairly aggressive solo lanes. You can see that Broken Blade is continuing to build his advantage, despite Ssumday getting that kill gold. He's up just over 20 CS as Ssumday finishes off the rest of these. He's going to be a little under that as Ssumday does at least trade aggressively, but he seems to understand the threats here in this matchup. It looked like we've had some close calls, but Ssumday has been pushing this 1v1 to the limit pretty happily here. So Spica is just going to take the top and mid lane control that his solo laners have and convert it into this early Rift Herald instead.
And that kill is keeping Ssumday even in gold. We'll have to see from the observers that we know exactly where Ssumday stands in this. And a big thing that has happened in the past few weeks is that these top laners, a lot of them have been trying to expand their pools into carry champions, whether that is Kayle, Jayce, Camille. The thing is, the initial bar was, okay, we want to see you get ahead in CS, especially the Jayce. We want to see you get some plays. We want to see you just win from your laning phase. But clearly, the bar is much higher than that. You actually need to be able to transition into snowballing that advantage, into team fighting well. And I think that the only Jayce player in NA that has truly shown us what a Jayce is capable of has been Ssumday. I think that all the other Jayces have somewhat been lackluster or against opponents that are having a really hard time, so it's easy for you to deliver your Jayce advantage into the team fights. Ssumday has been that only player, and today Broken Blade has an opportunity to show us that he can actually team fight with Jayce, but there is a lot of threats on this team that can easily punish him the second he goes in, so I need to see him have a great game because last week were two very rough ones. Yeah,
Broken Blade's certainly not a player that shies away from the aggressive champions. He loves himself a good carry top laner, so we'll see if he can indeed perform on the Jayce. Contractz though clearing up vision around the Dragon. There is a 3v3 brewing here. They know Spica's here thanks to Cody Sun's hawk shot. And with both mid laners roaming down as well, there could be a scuffle for this first Ocean Joke, Crumbzz. It's 10 minutes in, we've got Graves versus Olaf, and no one's taking this Dragon. I think they're a little bit sick of leaving this objective up.
Exactly. They don't want to stall out the soul win conditions any longer, but there's just such a large threat of, am I going to get collapsed on and lose right now? Because these teams are still trying to figure out where their strengths are. 100 Thieves is relatively new here. This iteration only has 4 games played, and TSM, well, this is their first one with Treatz in the first place, and they actually are still struggling. The only teams they've beaten were actually some of the weaker teams in the beginning of the split, or when they were at their weakest, before Immortals even swapped the roster. So I think that TSM is just trying to take things as slow as possible, but it might not be in their best interest. Although we have seen what happens when you stall out against Aphelios. He's kind of like a soul win condition anyway, so you don't really care. You got the Aphelios. We've seen that game against Immortals where he just defends in the base, pretty much 1v4 and still wins.
Yeah, that was quite the experience. But I mentioned that, you know, I'm surprised how late this Drake has gone. Shout out to our stats team for letting me know that this will actually be the latest first Drake of the split. Whenever it dies, it's the latest one to go down. So certainly was expecting a little bit more of a snowball. Instead, Spica is just going to take the Rift out up here to top lane and try and get Broken Blade a bit more of a lead. But there it is, 11 minutes, 27 seconds. Mark it down, Crumbzz. The latest first dragon of the split has now been slain, but top lane there are issues. TP in as well from 100 Thieves. I believe that's Ryoma coming in to try and defend his friend. And that will be enough actually to stop the tower from going down and to defend from the dive as Bjerg roamed up. But TSM do at least get the plate gold for Broken Blade, which I think is mostly what they wanted.
It is. Yet you actually lose the dragon, but you're not too worried about it since it was so late in the first place. And they couldn't commit for more because they were all so low mana. Spica had run same thing with Broken Blade, so it was only Bjergsen who had an opportunity to go for that. And as in lone LeBlanc that's not packing Ignite against a Wukong that still has ultimate, you're probably just going to get stunned under the turret. So it's nothing to fuss about. And thus far, I think that this game is just still to have anything to indicate us where these teams are going, because it has been so slow for the champions that we had expected to see be really action-packed in the early game, especially these kinds of Graves or Olafs.
Yeah, I definitely did not expect this slow of a game with Ignite Graves and friends hanging out. But Ryoma, Poome, and now Contractz are going to group around the mid lane here and just get things pushing in the right direction, but no one seemingly wants to overextend here.
Let's see. Now, this is an opportunity to maybe dive Cody. You still have a TP from mid and top. They just use their other ones to try to defend for Ssumday. So TSM has multiple instances where they had TP advantages. They're just not pulling the trigger on many of them. Happy to farm.
Yeah, I mean, Bjerg TP'd back to lane by the looks of things. Maybe to get some presence back around here if they do want to look for that dive bottom lane you mentioned. Also, top lane, Contractz is hanging out just short of vision. Broken Blade going to queue in. Contractz thinking about maybe going for it, but decides it's not really worth just going straight for the dive. Turret plating's going to wear off anyway. So it does seem like players will just go back, spend some money, maybe pick up their first items. We see Infinity Edge already done for DoubleLift, Blood of the Ruined King already done for Cody. And I imagine both Syndra and LeBlanc are fairly close to their first items as well.
It's interesting to see that TSM had 4 in the bottom quadrant of 100 Thieves' jungle, and they only went for the blue buff. They didn't really bother in trying to deny the 100 Thieves bot lane. I think that's an opportunity that some teams around the world would easily see as, hey, let's try to dive them. Like, how quickly can we dive them or just harass them into the turret and see what we can come up with? You've got the Leona with Aphelios that did so much damage as we saw already. Yes, there's a wild growth and heal now, but when you also have a Graves that can assist you from afar with his ultimate and even a end of the line if he moves up close, and even the LeBlanc too, I think that it's a window that TSM could take, but one that obviously comes with risk. And it's one that a lot of teams are trying to mitigate by just decreasing the amount of plays that they take that have that high risk factor. It's the whole, oh, you only take the 80% plays because we know that they're going to most likely go in our favor and then we don't get to mess up, instead of seeing an opportunity to practice these situations. But then again, it's not the spring split. I think that's the kind of spring split play that you make, not summer when so much more is on the line.
DoubleLift, though, getting enough alone time on that tower. I mean, Cody just didn't feel like walking up. I think in a 1v2 is the reason why Poome was roaming mid to make sure his team could get the Rift Herald. But that first tower just goes over to Aphelios. That is a lot of extra gold just given to DoubleLift. So 2,000 gold ahead for TSM with that first tower gold plus the farm they've got. Now a dive mid lane. Ryoma going to be forced to flash away. Nicely placed solo flare there for Treatz.
Nice and easy. Just show up in the mid lane, pop an ultimate, and now they can revisit this lane once again. It's going to be so easy to pick on this Syndra. Now, if she goes into the side lanes at this stage, she's also going to have to concede a lot of pressure from missing that summoner, so she'll probably just stay in the mid lane for now and have the Ashe roam around. And she's also going to be in a dangerous position. TSM has to reset now, so they're not going to be able to punish this lane assignment. But moving forward, you bet your bottom dollar that TSM is going to continue to look for Ryoma. He is sitting fodder, is not running Merc Red, so he can just be easily capped by Leona or LeBlanc and instantly deleted.
Well, Broken Blade's going to go up and collect a little bit of extra gold here as he takes down the Rift Herald, but 100 Thieves did manage to trade the towers at the end of the day, so now the gold lead that was 2,000 a mere moment ago after DoubleLift got that first tower is only about 600 gold between the two teams. So still very close as we gear up for the next Drake in 10 seconds.
100 Thieves is here. They're clearing out vision. Well, TSM is going to have priority on the bottom lane right now. You've got the Aphelios pushing out, so he's going to be able to join up from the bot side. And with LeBlanc in the mid lane, I think this gives TSM a stronger position to take a fight right now. You already have Broken Blade here too. Contractz can't be greedy starting this right now, and it's a beautiful shock blast on Poome to start things off. I like this position from TSM, and there's no deep wards for Ssumday to TP on and find the flank.
Yeah, actually just going to give up the Drake completely. So they'll trade the first two. It is going to be Mountain Rift today. That will be the soul of this game.
We got a long game ahead of us, Pastry. This is going to take quite some time. Better strap in.
Again, not the speed we expected, but both teams happy to play deliberately here.
Especially when we've seen Poome and Contractz in 100 Thieves Academy be so focused on the early game. Like even last split, the Contractz Soligo show, so much of it revolved around trying to snowball it from the early, transition those mid 2v2 leads into early objective takes, and then win a game hopefully after that. And this has been a game that is completely different to that. And we haven't really seen what 100 Thieves can do from this position, so this is new territory for this squad. And so far, they're doing fairly well. This gold lead is not something to fuss about, but it certainly gives TSM an opportunity to do something that we haven't seen from them in quite some time, which is take a win.
Yeah, I mean, Bjergsen's split pushing top lane is actually going to have TP up relatively soon. Ssumday's trying to trade, so the map's kind of getting split at this point as Bjergsen does finish off that tower there in top lane. I imagine Ssumday, yes, absolutely, will be able to finish off this tower. He already actually has Trinity Force finished, so this is a fairly powerful Wukong, especially with Contractz near him. And I was envisioning the dragon fight, you know, Poome ulting up the Wukong as he spins in, giving him a little bit of extra knock-up duration and health. The Ardent Sense is now finished for this Lulu as well, so Poome's going to be able to augment anyone on his team, really. Contractz springs to mind as a champion you would love to just shield an ulti in. But teams are just trading objectives, trying to keep the game close. It does feel like neither team wants to make a big oopsie.
Yeah, and that's usually not the winning mindset, not trying to make a oopsie. You always want to try to win, but they also have slowed the game significantly with how slow the Dragons have been taken. So it's hard to find these opportunities to take these fights once so much has already happened, where these turrets have been taken. Now they're going to try to go on Broken Blade.
Ooh, that arrow!
Okay.
I like the attempt, but Ssumday spins on Broken Blade, but Broken Blade does not get stunned, so no kill forthcoming. Contractz, so beelining to mid lane right now.
Do you know that Wukong was actually Garen before he evolved.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
There you go. Learn something new every day.
Just a fun fact. Some League of Legends lore for you.
Not well versed in my League of Legends lore. I did watch that sweet animation earlier. I have no idea what's happening, but it was cool.
Oh, the anime Yoni. Or Yon.
Yes.
That's the name of the new character in Contractz.
Oh no, Ragnarok out, Wild Growth out, burn all the ultis, get out of there. He's fine for now, but Bjergsen with the follow-up, looking for Poome, does not latch the chain. Ryoma does follow the stun, but the mid tower is kind of the big issue here. TSM just gonna whack that one down as the demolish there from Treatz. Procs to give him credit for the kill.
Without Ashe or Syndra there ready to defend, they have terrible wave clear. It really is only Axis now. Wukong doesn't have an ultimate to keep Broken Blade in place, so I think that you can just walk him out and walk away.
Yep. Broken Blade just thundering blows back. Hawkshot is going to find him, but Broken Blade's gone back anyway. Puts up the white flag as he gets revealed. That's a great emote.
If you use an emote and nobody is there to see it, or if the enemy is not there to see it, did it even happen? Ssumday didn't see the white flag. He doesn't understand that Broken Blade is surrendering to them.
Well, we shall see. I'm excited for whatever the next bit of action is going to be. Again, it's been a surprisingly slow game between these two teams, but TSM holding strong, about 1,500 gold ahead. Neither team is going to quickly snowball this Soul Dragon either, so there's a race to see who can be the first to 2 Drakes, as we split the first 2, but 100 Thieves already setting up around the area. 55 seconds till the dragon is spawning. Bjergsen is also committed to side laning here with this TP, which makes sense. So Ryoma is forced to match him. Does have a TP of his own, but LeBlanc just so much more mobility in setting up for this objective.
We need to watch the lane states to figure out who's going to have the advantage before the fight sets up. And thus far, 100 Thieves have been able to crash in bot lane. They are moving in mid, and with Ssumday committing here, this is the arrow that they need. Oh,
it's Spica, yeah, despite the Q, and there's the Wild Growth as well. Contractz in there! Ragnarok's him down. As Treatz also in there, but great double knock up there for Ssumday. Broken Blade, though, looking to try and find the sniper. He isn't going to get Contractz yet. The shield is good, but Broken Blade, he's able to get the kill on the other end of it. So now a 4v4 with Broken Blade's poke raining down on 100 Thieves.
That was a really weird smash from Jayce, because I thought he was going to eat the Wukong into the team, but he dashed at the same time and actually found his way, joined with the team again. So it could have been a kill. Ooh, almost Broken Blade goes down as well. So it's just a 1-for-1 trade.
It looks like they lost vision there. Syndra's Darksphere does not give you vision for very long, and Ryoma didn't have ulti. So Broken Blade a little lucky to get away with that one, but he does. TP in now from Bjergsen, who's going to have to instantly dash away, but he's okay. Broken Blade also rejoining. So TSM with a very quick port back to this dragon, clearly wanting to play for this second Drake.
Broken Blade has been pretty good with these accelerated shock blasts to deter 100 Thieves, and they're going to be rewarded with this dragon. They're doing really well at this rate, being able to secure these dragons and deter the fight despite 100 Thieves engaging on it, but they have to commit so much to go on Graves. We're going to take a look at this once again now. TSM doesn't have any vision until Spica places this control ward, because 100 Thieves is coming in through their own control wards, but Ssumday has to use his W to get in range, and then he gets to knock up. So he doesn't have an opportunity to use the W once again to have that double knockup with the 2 clones, which is something that you really want to have with the Wukong. Broken Blade unfortunately misses that shock blast, but it doesn't matter. Bjergsen was there to save the day, and with the double TP, they can ensure that dragon.
Yep, had enough bodies to throw into the team fight to make sure they get the trade, and the dragon subsequently, as you mentioned. We are getting close to the 2-item mark, actually in a lot of areas. Ssumday is working on his death dance, isn't there just yet. Ryoma also working on a death cap, so going for a very aggressive second item here, where Bjergsen has already finished the bit more cost-efficient Banshee's Veil.
That death cap is going to get a lot of value. There is not a lot of magic resist on this side of TSM. It really is only Bjergsen and Treatz, so you still have plenty of targets that are going to be able to just get deleted from a Syndra combo, which is exactly what you want. You're going to be able to find the Jayce, maybe the Graves, and even the Aphelios if you're lucky. So Ryoma has his work cut out for him. We just don't want to see him use that ultimate on somebody like Leona or LeBlanc, knowing that you're not going to kill him and just get a shot.
Ooh, a red double miss on the chain there for Bjergsen. But Ssumday's going to be forced to spin anyways. The poke is still good. The arrow does not connect it onto Treatz, and 100 Thieves are here, but they don't really have any cooldowns left to play with.
Syndra wasn't there either, so they're just going to have to concede this, and it's going to give TSM another second turret, so this is pretty good for them. There's nobody there to catch that wave for 100 Thieves just yet, so they have to base, find their way down here, and it just frees up the rest of TSM to reset and have more time to set up around the next objective. You could be threatening a Baron right now if you wanted as TSM, but from the pace of this game, we're probably just going to be waiting for that other dragon.
Yeah, TSM feeling very comfy at this point though. Phantom Dancer done now for DoubleLift. Broken Blood's working on his third item as well. Looks like another lethality item is in the works. And Bjerg also on the way. He's looking for Contractz here with the chain, but doesn't connect with that one either. Level 15 though for this LeBlanc as Broken Blade dives in, Ragnarok forced out. And Contractz just going to have to burn the ulti and run away.
He's really squishy. Usually when you see the Olafs go into a Graves or a more damage-focused matchup, they'll be rushing that Cinder Hulk to try to have a little bit more HP and survive. You have a lot of damage with the rest of your lineup, but here it just shows you how vulnerable he is to just getting jumped or pretty much one-shot by whether it's the Jayce or the Graves jumping on him. He needs the Lulu there with him.
Oh, goodbye, Cody.
Lulu, no.
DoubleLift didn't even ulti. That was just, I think, an Infernum Q and very nicely placed Shock Blast there for Broken Blade. But blowing up Cody means that Baron is now a very real threat. 4v5 for 25 seconds longer.
Contractz does not even have flash to try to steal this. Bjergsen is playing bodyguard here to keep him away if he even thought about it, and it's just that easy. A single pick on a really important member for 100 Thieves just means a free objective for TSM. They can easily push this Baron into a tier 2, into another dragon, and then just start sealing the deal on this game. They are looking like they are just slow, steady, but at least winning.
Yeah, maybe not what you expect with these champions, but still making them very effective nonetheless. As I think the mid-outer tower was too good of a piece of bait there for poor Cody. 100 Thieves still trying to knock that one down. It's giving all this room, especially. Look at the side lane LeBlanc go. Level 16 now. TP about to come back off cooldown. Baron Breath's going to make this split push awfully simple. And Ssumday also getting collapsed on, so his side lane pressure is going to have to stop as well. Oh, Contractz. Ooh.
Wants to play here. They don't have the Syndra. They have a TP, but she's busy with LeBlanc. Maybe they're hunting for DoubleLift, but this is going to be really hard to pull off from them. TSM is so strong. They know they just need to stay grouped and prevent any shenanigans from hitting their bot lane.
Here's Ssumday, there's Cody, there's the TP, there's Contractz, there's Poome. I found them all, Crumbzz. As the Ragnarok's in, the Wildcrow's going to get the knock up there, and DoubleLift getting low and is finally going to be felled by the Olaf. But Broken Blade is down, the Thieves still fighting. Ssumday able to take out Spica as well. Poome low but not out as Broken Blade now the one going to be chased. And 100 Thieves, they find two there.
Their spidey senses told them something was up, yet they didn't commit to it. And now they lose the Baron push. They're going to lose the Dragon, and they might try to get a steal here with Broken Blade. His Shock Blast have been really on point, but Contractz has Smite. They're not even going to think about it. They're just going to block it and make sure that it doesn't happen. Yep, they seal it. I'm surprised with TSM just walking into it thinking that it was safe when we saw in their game body language that they suspected something was up.
Yep, and you can see Spidey's hits did not tingle enough as 100 Thieves finally sprung the trap here in bot lane.
It's great from them. It shows us that they're still looking to find a win. I love that they instantly just go in. You need Contractz to just flash in and make sure that the play is as quick as possible. You know that the Aphelios needs to go down ASAP. And they got lucky that Bjergsen didn't die at the very end of that as well, because that would have been a huge kill to also take out.
Poome also manages to live, and I think you can kind of see why they like playing Olaf plus Enchanter, right? But gonna have to hold that thought because another fight could potentially be brewing here. Cody does not have ulti up just yet, but it's close. Good stun there onto Treatz, but he's one of the tankier members of either of these teams, and Ssumday's rolling back in the middle lane with the ultimate up and ready, but Baron's still up long enough that TSM are able to take down the tier 2 in mid.
They still get a little bit of value from that Baron, so they can feel somewhat good that they salvaged that play. but still, the ward here is the witness. It knows what happened down. It knows that 100 Thieves was still looking, still thinking about how they could win this game. It's a really good sign from them, and now the items get to be a little bit more dangerous from these champions like the Wukong. He's got the DD completed, looking for that Stare-X gauge next to make sure that he can survive when he goes into so much burst that TSM has right now.
You also see Contractz working on Randuin's by the looks of things. So going to be a bit tankier now after the Black Cleaver and the Warrior. I think a pretty sensible choice, given all the damage raining in. But here's TSM looking for Contractz. Going to have to Ragnarok out of there. Bjergsen dives in. Good Shock Blast again. Wild Growth forced out. Poome now going to be left to the Wolves as Broken Blade's looking for that kill. But Poome, tagged just barely. The shotgun rolling in, and Poome, he lives through the onslaught. 100 Thieves are going to get out of there.
Wow, they got so lucky there, and I don't think TSM's in a position to actually push from that, so they just get to take some sums and some help from the side of 100 Thieves, and they are just glad that they walk away living there. You can see just how strong TSM is in just flat-out damage, focusing the Olaf. He's not very tanky. Even though he has that Randuin's, it's not going to do much to keep him alive when you have all the armor shred from your Black Cleavers, and you've got the Aphelios, who doesn't care about tanks in the first place, so Contractz can't really be playing frontline, and that is why we value Olaf's early game and not so much of his late. You are just spending so much of your time running at somebody that these carries have an easy time shredding you, and by the time you're hitting them with your reckless swing, you're already at half HP, and your passive is not making up for it.
All right, well, 100 Thieves finally cracked the mid out of tower. So minute 20 will be the next Baron. 2 minutes will be the next Dragon. It will be soul point for whichever team grabs it. So a bit more space, a bit more breathing room now to play around the center of the map. Ryoma is going to pick up this wave in top lane, tracking the mid lane of TPs. They're almost up. They're not up just yet. In fact, everyone's TP except Ssumday's is currently on cooldown. But looks like Bjergsen is going to be playing side lane once again here in top. Is not going to spot Contractz here. Oh, he is, but Contractz actually not going to get away. Yeah, better be paying attention to your screen. Get out of the shop. Force to Ragnarok. There's the Shock Blast. And Olaf going to run out, but that's a cooldown he did not want to have to use there.
Yeah, that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt, especially in the setup. It won't be a big problem for the Dragon, but it might be with the Baron if TSM continues to play around this side of the map. They already have Bjergsen pushing here. The rest of the team is setting up. They know that Aphelios can just shred it real quickly, and once they take out this control ward, it will really be the last relevant ward that 100 Thieves has on this side of the map. They're going to be very happy to have an Ashe right now with the Scryers and a Hawkshot available. The TP comes in to make sure that they can continue to pressure this and try to catch somebody of 100 Thieves face checking into the red side. Look at how dark it is there. They have no idea what's going on. They just know that the timer says Baron's not up yet.
Poome almost ate the chain on the end of that combo and would have lost an awful lot of health, but no cooldowns used. Poome will get a little bit of health back slowly but surely, and 100 Thieves going to have to be careful in the dark against TSM. It does feel like, though, the next exchange around these major objectives could very well determine the winner of this game. TSM still up a few thousand gold here, so feeling comfortable, but 100 Thieves have shown that with the right team fight, they can certainly make things happen. But TSM aggressively starting Baron here.
They just see it now. The Scryers just got popped, and Contractz does have flash, so TSM have to respect that there's a steal possibility. They back off, and the fight begins.
He's in. Arrow in as well, going in for Treatz, but he's pretty tanky. Poome in the front line, but Ssumday trying to dive the backside as Treatz does fall, and Ssumday now going to spin back towards his team as Poome barely lives again, but Ssumday going to get chained up as forced to flash there, and does dodge the Shock Blast, so low health bars on either side, but it's only 100 Thieves that get the kill.
They're going to go for the Dragon, but TSM can still threaten a Baron here. DoubleLift is really strong. The second shot comes out. Great timing to see that they can stop this, but 100 Thieves is spreading themselves thin. They're going for both objectives.
That Scry's Bloom spotting Bjergsen felt extremely relevant in that spot, but Bjergsen might just still go for it here. The Shock Blast is good. Bjergsen's going to have to dash back, and TSM are committing to finishing this objective. Ssumday isn't there. He didn't really have health anyway. 100 Thieves need to find a way around this Baron. Contractz might just have to get in there and try and steal it. He's going to flash in. He's not going to get it. But can they win the team fight after? TP's coming in for 100 Thieves, but Bjergsen grabs the big shutdown gold off of Contractz' bounty. And 100 Thieves chasing, looking for kills here, but TSM already got what they wanted.
Oh, TSM was willing to coin flip on that one. Free kill.
Broken Blade sniping Poome, who finally dies. for once in these engagements.
The Aphelios turret actually, did it aggro onto Ssumday and also splash onto Poome at the same time that Broken Blade hit that Shock Blast? I think that's what actually ended up going down, because the kill credit went to Aphelios after the Shock Blast hit.
Ulti onto DoubleLift, but no one can reach him. Ssumday just dives in there, but only to his death into the throes of the 3 TSM carries.
They're still here and healthy, and with Baron, they can push.
Yeah, they're actually staying on the map, which I like. TSM picking up the pace in the last 5 to 10 minutes, Crumbzz. And they're going to knock down this inhibitor tower. Ryoma only one here to defend. Cody letting the arrow rip, finds Broken Blade. Contractz is in there. Going to get the shutdown of his own this time, because Ryoma is just going to get sniped by Bjerg. And it's 3v3, but it's not a particularly fair 3v3, as TSM will crack the top inhib tower and the inhib itself on the way as Spica's working on mid lane. TSM closing in on the 100 Thieves Nexus.
They can definitely get so much here. They don't even have to base if they want to continue going, but they'll likely do it. Bjergsen, low mana, so they're just going to be really happy that off the single push, without resetting from Baron, you can go down to the bottom Nexus turret and just ride it on home. This is a checkmate position practically, 400 Thieves. We're going to see that first fight here. This is actually the aftermath after the Baron. Let's see what actually happened to Poome, because there's the turret, right? And Cody suspects that there's a turret happening. It hits, yeah, the same time that the Aphelios turret with Infernum hits Ssumday is time with the Broken Blade Shock Blast. That is just unfortunate in the day of a Lulu.
Well, it hurts, and 100 Thieves watch a large chunk of their base crumble to the TSM Baron power play, which is not over, by the way. TSM looking to march down bottom lane and finish off this game, as you mentioned, Crumbzz. But I feel like there's a team fight left here for 100 Thieves. They haven't really put all the pieces together yet. You know, the Ashe arrow into the Wukong ulti with the Olaf running through with the Lulu ulti on. You can see it come together.
Ssumday doesn't have TP, and he's just basing right now, so there isn't even an opportunity to try to wait around in the brush and flank. So it's going to have to come straight up into 100 Thieves, into TSM, and that's exactly what Aphelios wants you to do. He wants you to run at him because he's this fed. So the Baron buff will run out before the wave crashes into the tier 3, but it doesn't matter. They're already this strong. A few shock blasts here and there, and they'll have this turret. Yeah,
plenty of power still left here for TSM. So it should be a pretty straightforward siege. 100 Thieves just trying to fend off the incoming TSM, but the ult is going to find Poome. In they go with the shock blast as Treatz runs in with the Leona. That inhibitor's dead as Bjergsen is looking low, but not out just yet. Ssumday spinning around trying to catch the pesky LeBlanc, but cannot get the kill just yet. Broken Blade's going to chase Ssumday away, and TSM can just walk out of here.
DoubleLift?
DoubleLift? Oh no, he can't. Yeah, he better get out of there, Chief. Does Mercurial Scimitar out?
Aphelios is not that strong. Like he needs all the CC to be initially used on the rest of the team. But at least Ssumday going for that play actually deters the wave as well. So he finds a way to get that. But now Bjergsen gets a TP and another shock blast hits Ryoma. Broken Blade sure knows who to hit with these.
Yeah, it feels like, you know, nothing happened at all. The Bjergsen just TPs back in to continue the assault as TSM looking to finish off that Nexus. But 100 Thieves, can they hold on, Crumbzz? It's looking grim.
Not a lot of mana, no Ssumday ultimate thus far, and those second two waves are about to hit. So I think this looks really good for TSM. We just need to see Broken Blade find an angle, look where he's shooting for it. He's not really thinking about getting it onto Contractz or Ssumday, always looking for Poome or Ryoma, and then Cody Sun's secondary target. But here comes the engage.
Here we go again. DoubleLift is the target. He's got no flash. He gets wild growth up. Contractz takes him out, but the return damage absolutely absurd on TSM's side, but they can't get a carry just yet. Broken Blade gets hit. Here comes Ssumday, but he gets exhausted. Very nice work there for Treatz, but now Ssumday begins the spins. Can he win? It's Treatz that goes down as well after Spica falls, and 100 Thieves, Crumbzz. They found the fight they needed. They will stay in this game as they pick up 4.
What? I thought this was TSM's game in the bag at this point. The Dragon is up as well. That means 100 Thieves can go and take this. Bjergsen's not enough to deter it. They can just creep, kill the minions in the base. And that engage was all because DoubleLift was initially caught out. had to burn the flash and then put himself in the position to be re-engaged on, knowing that, hey, 100 Thieves can just run straight at me and I'm not going to have a way out. So they did a great job in punishing the small window that TSM gave them. And now the Ashe gets to go to the Dragon. She's going to find Bjergsen there. And this could give them the sole point to keep this game going, Pacey. We knew we were in for a long one, but this is not how I thought it would pan out.
No, Cody does need a friend though. Poome is here, but this LeBlanc is still very scary, and they don't have a smite to secure this. So Bjerg might even just say, hey, I'm going to steal this. Here comes Contractz. They are going to delay for their jungler, which I think is a really smart play, and now they'll force him out. So this dragon will go over. What's it going to cost? Bjergsen, though, maybe going to be caught out of position. Cody letting the arrows fly, but doesn't pick up Bjerg. They get aggressive here. Here comes Broken Blade, 3v3 or 3v4 right now, but Broken Blade, he's got no CC. That Shock Blast didn't slow anybody down. So 100 Thieves going to get the Dragon, get the soul, and walk out of there.
If it gets 100 Thieves to run back into their base, it's an opportunity for TSM to go to the Baron. That's what they're going for right now. 100 Thieves, at least they know that there's no TP that could backdoor them, but this is just too out of position to contest this. Now they're going to have to deal with TSM going for another Baron up push against a base that is in shambles. TSM have to pull the trigger on this push and try to end the game, because if you lose it later, you're now just going to be giving up 100 Thieves an opportunity to take Elder.
I mean, but it's tough. Like, look at TSM's sums on the left-hand side of your screen. They've got nothing right now on anyone. You know, it's one inhib down only for 100 Thieves. They've managed to wait for the other two to respawn. In fact, 100 Thieves are getting aggressive here, trying to pick off Bjergsen. Contract's going to check the brush, but can't find him. So Ryoma is going to go back down, clean up the rest of the wave here in bottom lane, and TSM will reset and regroup for this Baron up push.
I like what we saw at 100 Thieves there, knowing that the only thing we can find right now is a grouped up pick. We cannot be alone. Only Ryoma gets to leave the base on the bottom side, knowing that TSM was last around the Baron side, so he's a little bit safer. But now comes the split push approach from TSM. Are they going to commit to multiple lanes and try to just run it in with the Baron? Because you've got a lot of champions that can push very fast. If 100 Thieves is to split up, there is an opportunity for us to see one of these backdoor games that we have gotten to see a few times in the LCS this split. So, wait a minute. Okay. The engage just barely missed.
Oh, that arrow actually hit Treatz. Not a target that can really chase that far away. The TSM will keep going.
No arrow. That is a big cooldown. That was really important in catching out.
I see Ssumday. Yeah, Spica got to get out of there. Ssumday going to chase him down. They go for it. He's got the two knockups. Spica's got no flash. He's Ignite Graves. That's the jungler dead. 5v4 now for 100 Thieves. So they're going in again. Contractz onto DoubleLift again. He's got no flash. It's coming up soon, but he's going to just kill him. It's over. The next is open. TSM! They've managed to rush it down. They will defeat the Thieves. But a very dramatic ending. 100 Thieves. They knew they were going to win that last fight. They just couldn't win the race to the Nexus.
What is it with TSM this split and trying to end these games in the most unusual fashion? Bjergsen backdoors. Once again, he's going for the BD alongside Broken Blade, but it's what we talked about, Pacey. There's such a strong pushing power. There's no base left for 100 Thieves. If they commit to any engage on one side, you know they're going to pull the trigger and try to end. That's what they did. They got the win, and they actually beat the team that beat Cloud9. So where does that put TSM now?
Crumbzz, that's a very loaded question.
It is.
To be honest with you, so I think we can get out of here and let somebody else decide what's going on.
Let's see if Mark, Raz, or Probably can give us an answer. Is TSM better than Cloud9 now?
I don't know. I don't know who's got the answers, Crumbzz, but we are going to go to a break, and on the other side we'll hear from the Verizon post-game interview, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Verizon post-game interview. I'm Riv, and I'm joined by TSM Treatz. No, you're not on Academy. This is the LCS, and TSM Treatz has just won over 100 Thieves. And that's kind of my first question, man. December of 2018 is around the time you joined TSM Academy, and now you get to load onto the Rift with the main team. How does that feel?
Yeah, obviously it's really fun. I mean, I was waiting for this opportunity for a long time, so I'll just make sure I'm ready for it and do my best in every game, and it feels really good.
Absolutely. And we see a lot of, changes going on in rosters, and that kind of means watchful eyes on those positions. How are you dealing with that pressure and also the pressure of being DoubleLift support?
Overall, I don't really feel a lot of pressure. Like, I know what I'm capable of myself, so I don't put too high standards, but I know what I'm capable of, and I know that I can show that to my teammates and everyone within the org, so I'm just happy to be here and happy to play my best.
You're not worried about any DoubleLift lane critique?
No. I'm sure we can grow better together, so.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Who, recently are you watching to improve? Obviously you're being given a chance here and showing up, but how are you improving your gameplay overall?
I mean, overall, talking a lot to DoubleLift has helped me improve my lane.
Yeah.
We have a lot of discussions about different picks, how to play different lanes, etc. Also, just watching other regions like LPL, LEC, and like LCK. Just the top teams in general, they're really strong in other regions where I think NA is like slightly lacking. It's like C9 is pretty good, and then it's kind of a toss-up after that. So, yeah, just watching other people and talk to my lane partner has been the biggest thing for me.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure a lot of people are really happy to have seen you on the main stage now, Treatz, and we can't wait to see what more you have to offer in the future for TSM. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.